Alright, it is Tuesday evening. I still feel like garbage. I mean, I didn't feel too bad. I went into work today, but that basically took everything I had to get through work. And I got a video that's currently uploading that you will hopefully have seen by the time I get this one around, that explains why I feel like crap. But I can tell you one thing, I'm never taking a video that long on my phone again, because it has been nothing but a complete and utter pain trying to get it onto the tubums. So anyhow, I don't know how long I'm gonna stay out and work on this project, because I got home from work. It's like I feel kind of like crap. I'm gonna sit on the couch and take a half-hour nap real quick and see if that does anything for me. And basically all it made me want to do is just take a shower and go to bed. So, but there's work to be done and the show must go on. So anyway, what we're fixing to do here, I got my material ordered to get my loft built. Don't know why I bothered to turn the lights on. They don't do anything when the door's open. The loft right here. So obviously, gonna be building the loft here. Need to get all of this out of here for the time being, which really ain't much. 2 mowers, a 4-wheeler, those 2 drills, and that wagon. And probably the little sprayer, the big one. We'll probably have to come out to get the drills out. They'll definitely have to come out to get the drills out, but then it can sit back in here for now. Oh boy. I do not feel like being out here. So anyway, obviously these things I want to stay inside. I don't know if we can weasel them down in the basement if we pack everything real tight. Actually, I do if we do something a little different with my little lawn trailer. Hold on, I need a sip of my 7-Up. I don't know what this crap is that I got, but I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I mean, I normally don't take to being sick very well to begin with, but this stuff was... It all started down here, which was bad enough. And it all broke up, because I was coughing it all up, and I could feel it. I could literally, it was so thick, I could literally feel it. Every time I coughed, I could feel like chunks break off. At least that's sure what it felt like. Well, now, it all moved up here. I got a buddy who's... I was describing to him what I had, and he had something fairly similar. And he said it took him about 3 weeks to kick it. I guess that started out the same way. Started off as a fever. Luckily, I skipped the coughing part he had, because he said he would have coughing fits so bad that he would actually throw up. I don't need none of that. Okay, let's move this guy out the way. Just do this and spin you around. Sweet. Okay. You bitch. new camera mount's already disappointing me. Oops. Okay, so we'll put this in here first. Or do I put this over there? I might put this over there. Let's put this over there. Eat. Cold-blooded ornery. Yeah, let's put this here. Uno. I think I'm gonna go back to mowing with this old girl. The deck on Granddad's old Ford is getting just about wore out and can't get parts for the dang thing anymore since New Holland quit dealing with Shinnabura, or however you pronounce it. Which I don't understand because they were badass little tractors. Well, I shouldn't say New Holland, I should say Fiat, because that was their call, but it's whatever. I actually mowed with it twice to finish up last fall, because Granddad's tractor keeps eating deck belts and it keeps eating PTO drive belts. Got tired of having to go to Road King to buy new belts because the pulleys are shot, bearings are shot, everything's shot. Speaking of which, that's got to come out now, and it's probably dead because the battery was getting weak out of it. The other thing I'm excited about having this loft for is by all right, since the bats are always all the way up top. Once the loft's in, I won't have to tarp this stuff anymore. That'll be neat. Okay, are you dead? I'm gonna bet you're dead because you haven't moved in a minute. Oh yeah. Maybe not. We'll run some glow plug and see if you want to start. Temperature dropped off quite a bit since this morning. Yesterday it was 50. Today we're back under freezing. I'm sure that's partly what triggered my whatever I got going on, is the insane weather swing we had this weekend. Okay, maybe. Oh. Well, I'd have bet money against that. I don't know if I want to cycle the glow plugs again because she might not have enough ass. Okay, we'll try cycling the glow plugs one more time. funny is she'd have never started. Okay. This thing probably is back here by the barn for now, I suppose. That should be relatively out of the way. It hurts to cough. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and park this thing outside. It's weather's supposed to be, you cold-blooded. It's always the red ones, I tell you what. Just kidding. The weather's supposed to be decent, and they're gonna hopefully I get the vast majority of this project knocked out this weekend, so I just got some detail stuff to finish up next week, and hopefully by the middle of next week everything's back in its appropriate spot anyhow. So we'll just park it outside and it'll be fine. Will she pull it in third gear? You know, you gotta give them credit for 60 cubic inches. They'll lug their little hearts out. All right, we have reached the stopping point for the night. The drills are going to be a little bit of a project on their own because I got to put the tongues back on them, but not too bad. So, and then getting that out's kind of fun because I got to stuff it back in there with a floor jack. So getting that out's going to be a good time. But anyhow, we'll continue this project tomorrow. All right, we're back. Feeling a lot better today. Funny story. Think we found out what made me sick and was starting to make other people sick at work. That was never puckered before, I don't think. Maybe it was. Anyhow, story. So we're standing there in the shop this afternoon, shooting shit with some of the guys from the elevator who were over there working on some of their stuff. One of the guys sitting there in a rolly chair and he's looking up at the wall and he goes, "Hey, is that heater supposed to be unhooked from the exhaust?" And I look over because there's two radiant heaters, one for each bay. I look over at the other one, sure as shit, it's unhooked too. So both our radiant heaters, for Lord knows when it happened, have been just dumping the exhaust right into the shop, which would stand to reason. It makes sense because when I was there last Friday, I was fine all day. In about the last 2.5 hours, I was there by myself. So I was in the shop servicing one of our tender trucks, and I've been down on the floor on a creeper underneath the truck doing stuff. And by the time I got off was when my chest was feeling all heavy and nasty and crap. Never got a headache, but now obviously carbon monoxide isn't going to cause the fever and all that crap I had. But if my body was fighting something to begin with, and that pushed it over the edge, and then that would also explain why I felt like crap when I got off of work yesterday, because yesterday I was in the shop all day on a creeper underneath the truck. Today, I was outside working most of the day. I feel fine. I mean, my head's still a little stuffed up for being sick, but other than that, I'm like, I'm ready to go. And it also makes sense because the last 3 days, our shop cat has been just really lethargic. So weird part is nothing in there that we've had in there in recent times has been tall enough to knock them off. So I don't know, we don't know what. So anyhow, that we noticed that at the end of the day today, so that's going to be fixed first thing tomorrow morning. But it definitely makes sense as to why whatever I had just took me out of nowhere. Okay, are you gonna be a little bit more cooperative on the starting today, you cold-blooded bitch? Say maybe. Say, no, you're not. I can't believe we used to plow snow with this thing. Alright, me and cold starts on camera, I tell you what. Found the problem. The little button on the striker for the point is well, this is the old one. I'm not gonna be able to do it on camera. The little button is loose, and you can see the burn mark on the frame where it's been striking off, or it's been sparking off the little holder. The spark was screwed up, long story short, and it wasn't sparking right. Luckily I had the old set of points and condenser from last time I tuned that one up here with a good striker, so I put that in there, which took a minute, because anybody that's ever worked on a Cub knows how lovely it is to do anything to that distributor, because you can either have light and see what you're doing, or you can have a hand in there, or you can have a screwdriver in there. You cannot have all three. So I'm gonna let that warm up, and while that's warming up, let's throw the tongue back on that drill so we can get it pulled out, and then we can get the tongue on the 38, get it pulled out, and we'll just go from there. Okay, now I gotta remember how exactly I did this. My, look at all the back shit. Whew. Getting that wagon out of here is not fun at all. Oh boy. I don't quite have enough breath yet for that. Okay, so got stuff in the corner I'm not too worried about. I can move that as needed. And these gates, I'll probably just lay that one down against the wall here and they'll be out of the way enough. Kinda. So yeah, that's basically everything I need to move. I'll shuffle that stuff over against that side when the time comes, and tomorrow I'll sweep the floor. I'll have to take my lights down because the brackets I got them hanging from are going to be in the way. Hopefully I don't have to move I might have to move my outlet. Yeah, it's below the top of the beam. I think I'll be all right. So, because the joists are going to end up being, I wish I could have built this loft. This loft over here, they built with the joists running this way, and load bearing is going into, you got this beam here bearing down on the center beam. Basically the weight on this side is more spread out because of the way they built the loft. Well, because everything, this whole center wall is load bearing. And then they did a bunch of framing inside this little granary room here, which I want to knock this. Well, we'll do that, talk about that in the daylight. But anyway, can't build the loft like this on that side because obviously I don't want to lose all the space having to frame in a load bearing wall here in the center, spread the load, which is why I needed the LVLs. So this loft is actually going to end up being not a whole, I mean, it's going to be taller. This side's basically sitting on a little bit more than a 2x4. So this side's going to end up basically sitting on a 2x12, so it's going to be what, not quite 8 inches taller than that side. But there'll be LVL sitting on top of this beam to help. But that one and that one would probably handle the load just fine, but this one's got quite a span in it. So I'm gonna set an LVL on top of it to help share the load. And then this side's gonna get a full span LVL that sits on top of that beam and on top of that beam, and then there'll be a post set here in the center and sistered into this guy. Also, what would have made it easier is if that beam going across the top was at the same level as that beam, which is not. So that's why we have to do it the way we got to do it. But anyhow, that's what we got going on. And once I get rolling on it, the time consuming part is going to be cutting. There's going to be it's not quite, I got 2x10s that are gonna have to be ripped down to this dimension. So 2x8 was gonna be too narrow, but gonna be sistering in 2x10s ripped to this dimension on either side of all the beams under anywhere there's a joint. That way we're not relying entirely on the tenon to carry the loads. So the beam itself will actually be sitting on a 2x sistered all the way down and sitting on the main beam going this way. So that'll be both sides of the beams all the way down through here. Won't have to worry about, because there won't be any load sitting on this, but then it'll be do some fancy cutting and sister one in here, and there'll be one on that side because the LVL will be sitting on top of those beams against there. So can't remember if I ordered enough. Might do fancy cutting and do. But anyway, you get what you're picking up what we're putting down. So, and then the rest of it's just gonna be framed in like a regular regular loft with floor joists on 16-inch centers and sheeted with 3/4 plywood. I looked into tongue and groove, but to go from regular 3/4 inch to 3/4 inch tongue and grooves, woof, that's a little cost prohibitive. So it's just going to get regular 3/4 inch plywood. So yeah. Tomorrow I got to get the truck and gooseneck hooked up so that Friday after work I'm ready, set, go to jump in the truck and head to Big C and pick my stuff up. And then yeah, I'll finish cleaning this up and we'll go from there. So probably figure on maybe Saturday night we'll see the first build hopefully see the first build video. Don't think I'll get it all done in 2 days working by myself, but you never know. We'll see how things go. So I guess that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm ready to go inside.